Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hot Takes on Society. Today, we're going to look at a very interesting topic, the YouTube algorithm, but specifically for top comments. Now, the YouTube algorithm is a very interesting one, and there are a lot of videos on it, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper on how YouTube ranks top comments on a particular video. So, there are two ways that YouTube actually categorizes this. Now, please make sure to understand these are my observations. Now, the way you access top comments is that you click on the burger icon and then you click top comments. Now, the other part is the most recent, so that orders the comments in historical order, meaning from first to last or last to first. This particular top comment is how YouTube ranks the comment section, and this is how it is set default. So YouTube algorithm does two things when it ranks. So it's looking at how to rank something higher and how to rank something lower. So let's go with the ranking system and how YouTube ranks its top comments. So what does YouTube consider as its best comments, right? So comments is something that's very interesting. Usually there is no money given for comments. But one of the good things about the comment section is that if you are on the top comments, right, one of the top comments, the click-through rate to your channel, YouTube channel, is very high if you're on the top comments list. And this is very interesting and useful if you're trying to grow your channel, or if you're not trying to grow your channel, you just have a good comment and it comes out that you're a cool dude, people like your videos. So maybe it can work to your benefit, but who knows? That's the nature of the algorithm. But there are some observations I've made, and I'm just going to put them to you. So the first thing is YouTube ranks its comments based on popularity, and this is the only thing that matters to YouTube, right? I would say 70 to 80% of YouTube's algorithms thinking is that it sees how many likes are there and how many replies are there, right? So this is the number one criteria by which you can be the top comments on videos. To be popular, you need to get likes, a lot of likes from people, and a lot of replies from people. Now, when I say likes and replies, I mean likes in proportion to the number of people who have engaged in the comments section. So some comments, right, they have very large number of likes, but they're not ranked at the top. Now, there could be several reasons for that. So one of the reasons is because YouTube is just looking at the proportion of likes to all the other comments. So there are channels, especially the meme channels, where there are like 15 comments with 10,000 plus likes. And so when it comes to those kind of videos, where the comment section is just filled with comments that have got countless likes, the audience engagement is very much in proportion to the viewership data. What happens is the YouTube algorithm says, okay, this I can order how I want it to order. And so it uses some of its own thinking, I guess. But the first and most important criteria is popularity. The more likes and the more replies you get, YouTube is going to put your comment at the very top. And you will see this very prevalent in channels that are having 800 total comments, including replies, where there'll be just 3 comments which have got 10 replies, and those comments will be at the very top. YouTube wants you to engage, it wants you to stay in the app, it wants you to stay in the video as long as you can. So the idea for YouTube is that if you are watching a video for 10 minutes, even if you're just engaging with the comment section, they don't really care. For them, you're engaging with videos. You are interested in the app. That's all they care about. And so they like to put that on top. Next is visibility. Now, this is very interesting, but I think a lot of you would have noticed that if you go into a video, a popular video, not just among normal people, but even among other YouTube content creators, you'll see that the top comments will always be comments from those who have verified YouTube accounts. And this is something that YouTube does in a very interesting way. In a way, I think it's because they're just pushing the content that are made by verified content creators because they think they are more legitimate. YouTube has given the go ahead and said, hey, this channel we like, and so we're going to push it. And so when those people make comments, YouTube listens and it pushes those comments to the viewers. I think that's very interesting. Now, is this right or wrong? I do not know, but it's just the way the algorithm is, and that's how it is. Next is based on pleasantness, right? And I think this is a very interesting point. And this is where we will get into the very subtleties of how YouTube is taking word, converting it into computer understandable language, and where the algorithm really starts making powerful calculations using a lot of speech processing techniques. So if a comment is very neutral, meaning it doesn't anger anybody, it does not push people's buttons, it does not make people feel like, going on their keyboards and just banging the alphabets on the keyboard, banging the numbers, and then hitting enter with the bang. When you have comments that don't do that, they usually do well. Now, this is especially true in channels which have got plenty of audience engagement. And when I mean plenty of audience engagement, I mean like 10,000, 15,000, 30,000 comments and replies. In those kind of channels, YouTube is putting extra effort to make sure that your comments are pleasant. They're not divisive. They're not creating anger. And yet they're creating engagement. And I think that's a very interesting thing. It's very difficult to create audience engagement on a social media platform without actually enraging anybody. And I think it also has a lot to do with the nature of the content the creator has put out. So it kind of works hand in hand that YouTube is trying to promote pleasant videos that does not make journalists of the New York Times print out material saying YouTube is promoting hate speech. And basically, that's what they want to do. They don't want to drive angry people. They don't want to drive people out of their platform. They want to keep them as much as possible, but as interesting as possible. Now, where you will see this is not true is in cases where the topic presented by the creator is in itself charged. So in those kind of situations, the algorithm is not going to go and just parse out the most pleasant information. It's just going to let it go because it kind of confuses the algorithm. It's like everybody is angry, but everybody's commenting. So the algorithm is like, okay, we have engagement. Maybe it's angry engagement, but it's engagement nonetheless. And in my opinion, the bottom line for YouTube is engagement. That's all they care about, and that's all they're driving home. And personally, I would say you don't have to really focus on making pleasant YouTube comments. Just be yourself. That's all I would give advice on. Now, one of the things that I think people either know or do not know, but something that I've noticed very clearly is that the YouTube algorithm does not really get affected by replies. Say, for example, if there's a comment, it doesn't matter how bad the comment is. If there are like 1,000 replies, 500 replies, which is the maximum for many channels, very few channels are allowed to cross that 500 reply threshold. And it seems there's some special program for that. I don't know what it is yet. But one of the most interesting things about this is that if there are if there's a comment and there are like 100 replies, and all of those 100 replies are angry replies, the YouTube algorithm really doesn't care. As far as they're concerned, angry replies does not equal unpleasantness. For them, a reply is just a number, right? It's the reason why YouTube keeps number of replies on their comments. To their mind, it's like this, right? The comments are there. Very few people are going to go and click into the replies. So that's extra work. The reason why they say this is because when you click on a YouTube video, the first thing that loads are not the comment section. Whether even if you're on desktop or on your mobile phone, the first thing that pops out is not the comment section. It's the recommended video. So YouTube, first and foremost, cares about watch time. That's their number one goal. They don't want you to like and comment. They don't care about that. But once the recommendation is done and you open the comment section, to them, their mind is that, okay, if some people don't care about the comment section enough to click on it, then very few people are going to care about the reply section to click on it. So it's not important to apply the algorithm on replies. However, I will say that if the reply is too nasty or it is terrible, horrible for viewing, they will basically disable your comment section. So that's a small disclaimer. But in general, the comment section algorithm is not really affected by what kind of replies are there, just how many are there. Now, the last point on top ranking is that the YouTube comment section does not promote comments that are hearted by the video creator. And this is something that has surprised me a lot. I think the main reason is because, as far as YouTube is concerned, when the content creator likes or comments on the comments in his or her own comment section, they don't consider that as audience engagement. They consider that as your creator engagement. And I think because they make this distinction between audience engagement and creator engagement, they do not really care about hearts from the content creator. And so if you notice, those comments are not necessarily ranked at the top, but because those hearts are given by the content creator, they're just given special place, meaning it is up to the audience to organically find those comments rather than YouTube themselves pushing it. And I think that's very, very interesting. Yeah. I do not know how to think about it as a content creator, but I mean, it's all right, in my opinion. So let's talk about some of the things now, switching our focus from top ranking comments to what actually gets comments ranked lower. Right? So what are the things that can get your comments go into goofy places? So this completely depends on how many comments are there in the video. If you have comments like good video, things like interesting, things like I love this, short phrases, small short phrases, the YouTube algorithm seems to actively push those things to the bottom. Now, this is what is interesting here, because if there are very little comments on the video, obviously you're going to see those short comments at the very top. If there are too many comments, those kind of small short replies, they will sink to the bottom. YouTube does not like those kind of replies, because I think the idea here is that a lot of those short comment or short phrase comments usually originate from bots. Now, I'm not sure that that's a good way of thinking of it, but I think it's interesting. It shows that the bigger the channel, the more YouTube expects the engagement of the audience to be more insightful, I guess. However, there will be times when you will notice that even those short phrases have got a lot of likes, a lot of replies, and you may ask why that is. It's there for a simple reason, right? So the YouTube algorithm, when it's sorting through comments, when it's working the algorithm on comments, it's usually working on the algorithm of comments only if it likes the video itself. So the first thing it does is it pushes the video. It pushes the video. It looks at the engagement. It looks at the click-through rate. It looks at the audience engagement with the like and dislike ratio. Only if YouTube finds all of that okay will they start working on helping the comment section push your video. And so what happens is the first thing they work on is to push good comments to the top. And that's why we spoke about that at first, right? So they want to push the content that will capture the audience attention at the top. And so the YouTube algorithm works on that first. It pushes the good content on the top. In order to demote the comments to the bottom, the YouTube algorithm, I think, needs more time, which is one of the reasons why you will see a lot of those short comments like good video, interesting, and all those kind of things have a lot of likes in comments, because sometimes content creators get a lot of channel views and engagement within the first 3 to 4 hours, right? And in that time, if people look at those short comments and they like it or they reply on it, what happens is it turns out that those short comments get those likes and reply. But over time, if those comments, right, if the comment section increases, it becomes big, the like ratios get big, the video is getting a lot of traction, YouTube then actively starts pushing those comments to the bottom because it doesn't like it. From their point of view, comments with short phrases are not really worth the engagement. And I think that's very, very interesting. Whoever thought of that, I do not know what the understanding behind that is, but that's interesting. So next type of comments that get pushed to the bottom are just plain rude comments. Now the YouTube algorithm is, or any of these Facebook or whatever algorithms, funnily enough, they don't understand sarcasm, which is one of the biggest questions against the algorithm, is that these guys don't understand sarcasm. But I do think they understand what anger is, what love and like is, and it's because of the, dislikes. So if your comment has too many dislikes, it's going to be pushed to the bottom. And unfortunately, I think the reason why we don't know why they are at the bottom or how many dislikes are there is kind of a disadvantage to this observation, because the dislike ratio is hidden to us. But I believe that the more the dislikes, YouTube is going to start pushing those comments down to the bottom. And we may not see the dislike rate, the dislike on a comment or anything like that, but YouTube knows and it pushes those comments to the bottom. So next is going to be about making rude comments. I think when a commenter, attacks a YouTube content creator, right, and it is not in line with the general theme of the content thread, of the comment thread, then I think YouTube pushes that comment to the bottom. So if it is a common theme among the comment section that there are some rude comments, I don't think YouTube really pushes it to the bottom. But if there are anomalies, like 1 or 2 rude comments, it's going to push it to the bottom. And I think they're doing that either to, basically shield the content creator and make sure people that engage with the comment section don't get detracted because of those statements, right? But it all depends on how many people are making those rude comments, right? Most of the good channels we know, one rude comment because some guy had a bad day or girl had a bad day. That's it. Next kind of comment that gets pushed to the bottom is disturbing the peace, right? Let's say, for example, there is a comment there that is crazy. Okay? It's absolutely crazy. What it has done is it has created a lot of replies. Right? It's basically muddied the waters. It's created a lot of replies and muddied the waters. YouTube generally, because of the way they deal with replies, do not demote it. But if such a comment exists and it does not have enough replies, they will push it to the bottom. How they do that, I think, is they will see again the number of dislikes, right? The way the audience is engaged in the comment section in general, and they push comments that disturb the piece to the bottom. And I think these are, some of the nuances in the YouTube algorithm that um, cannot be understood unless we actually see the algorithm more firsthand. Now, the next item, I think this is the most obvious one. If your comment gets reported too many times, it'll either be deleted or it'll be put to the bottom. I think this is a very tricky zone for YouTube, because when a comment gets reported, right, how do you know it's a good comment or a bad comment, or if people are doing it out of spite, or people are purposefully doing it? It's difficult to know that, right? And so I think YouTube does give the benefit of the doubt. My guess is they wait for a lot of reports to come in before they actually remove the comment. But before they remove the comment, I think if there are a few reports, like maybe 1 or 2, 3, they probably going to push the comment to the bottom. And I think that's just one of the obvious ones. Now the last one, and this is the most interesting thing I've found about YouTube. If there's a comment that speaks in bad light of the CIA, the NSA, the Pentagon, and other American institutions, YouTube will push that comment to the very bottom. And I've seen this myself so many times. Now, I think it's very important, again, to understand how this works, right? So if there are a lot of comments about the CIA in that particular video, or the NSA, or the Pentagon, or whatever, YouTube does not really go and push the comment to the bottom, right? If there is some sarcastic comment made about an American institution without naming it, if a comment is made against an American institution very viciously without naming it, again, I don't think they push it to the bottom. But if you name the CIA, if you name the NSA, if you name the Pentagon and other similar American institutions, and your comment makes it very obvious that you're putting them in a bad light, and your comment in particular is very unique in that comment section, or there are 100 comments and like 5 comments are like that, you will see that all of those comments that name the American institutions and put them in a bad light will be pushed to the bottom, will be pushed to the absolute bottom. Comments like this regarding the CIA usually don't get promoted to the top, because it's very hard for the algorithm to understand what the person is trying to say. The reason that is because a lot of it is conspiratorial, a lot of it is reality, but because the intelligence agency does not like to admit it, YouTube is like, okay, we also don't like to admit it, so it'll just be somewhere in the middle. But if you put the CIA's name in a bad light, boy, are you sure to get your comments to the very bottom. That's the weirdest thing. It'll be below comments that have got short phrases like good video, interesting. It'll be below videos that are rude. It'll be below videos that'll be disturbing the piece. I have seen comments that are like 2, 3 sentences blaming the CIA for stuff in several videos, and they're at the absolute bottom. YouTube algorithm hates it when you make a bad remark about the CIA, especially the CIA. The NSA, they don't care. They don't care about the Pentagon so much, maybe a little. Other American institutions also kind of okay. But when you put a bad light on the CIA, they hate it. They push it to the absolute bottom. And I think that's absolutely interesting. It's very interesting. those are my observations on how the top comments algorithm works on YouTube. If you've noticed any more patterns, please let me know. So here's another way the algorithm works. And I think this is very, very interesting, and it shows how intelligent the algorithm is, right? And this is regarding not top comments, bottom comments. This is regarding scrolling down while watching the YouTube video. And this is the most interesting observation I think I've seen, because a lot of people have made this observation but never joined the dots, right? Why it happens. So a lot of people in their comments will say, I was literally scrolling through the comment section and I found this exact comment while the content creator is saying this, minute 4, minute 5, whatever. What the YouTube algorithm does is, apart from the top comments, meaning the ones that are ranked at the very top, if you're scrolling through the YouTube comment section while watching the video, the YouTube algorithm automatically rearranges the comment section so that it will take matching phrases from the video, line it up with the comments, and you will see the comments relevant to actual words spoken in the video in correct chronological order. This is the most fascinating thing I've noticed. So if in minute 1 I'm talking about apples, and you're scrolling through the comment section, you will see comments about apples. If the comments about apples have ended, you will be reading the next, and maybe it's about bananas. Maybe you're at minute 1, 45, still on apples, but you're reading bananas. At minute 2, it'll be about bananas. Maybe there are a lot of comments about bananas. So the video shoots beyond 3 minutes, and it starts talking about orange. You scroll through, you're still scrolling through banana. At 3:20, still on orange, you go down and orange starts coming. And I think this is one of the most interesting things that YouTube have managed to do, is that they've found a way to correlate text to speech and speech to text, and to actually make intelligent decisions on what kind of comments should be shown to you in chronological order. Now, the disclaimer here is that it helps if the person in the comment section is using some of the exact words from the video. This way YouTube can actually rank the comments based on chronological order while you're scrolling through. Now mind you, the video should be playing and you should be scrolling through for this to work. And you should be scrolling through at a medium pace, not at a very fast pace. The reason they do that is because when you're scrolling at a medium pace, the idea is that you're reading all the comments in more detail, more interest. And this idea that YouTube is able to correlate speech to text, text to speech, is able to correlate video time, video length, topic time and topic length with the topic in the comment section, along with your scroll through time, meaning how fast you're scrolling through the comment section, is just fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And the reason they do that is because when the topic is relevant to the comment you're reading, you will like the comment, you will reply on the comment, and maybe that comment becomes a top comment. Basically, folks, this is how the YouTube algorithm works. Thank you for listening. Consider liking the video and comment if you have an opinion. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos of this kind. Thank you.